Hi, welcome to another episode of EXPO TV. My name is Michael Causey. I'm the editor-in-chief here at ACRP, and we've got with us today Rick Arlow, who's the CEO and founder of Complion. Rick, thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about your background and the company's background for people who aren't familiar with either, perhaps the few in the industry who don't know who you are.
Okay, got it. So I started Complion. My background, where I saw this problem here specifically, was directly in clinical research. I was in a medical scientist training program involved here with clinical trials, and saw this massive burden here that we had at a large hospital, academic medical center, right, in terms of managing all of the regulatory documents, and seeing how that really took a tremendous amount of effort to manage that effectively, both for the regulatory staff and the other clinical staff members, and many times also delayed the time here to get to study startup and see patients.
So it's interesting, you were on the other side, so you saw the situation and saw that there was a problem, if you will, that needed to be addressed. So talk about how your company has formed to address those issues, to help on the e-regulatory side. It's a critical area.
Yeah, definitely. So, really what we've found, and I started the company seeing that need firsthand from the problems that I was dealing with. And really what we help clients to address here, first and foremost, obviously, to be able to manage those types of regulatory documents and processes, getting the electronic signatures as well as that electronic access to the information here. And I think that's a step one, right? Especially today in a remote world, and with the need to provide access across both potentially team members as well as to the monitors effectively and remotely, and reduce the redundancy of moving back and forth, right, from paper and shared drives and physical signatures. We've also found by really, again, working with our customers here, we're the first in the market with this e-regulatory solution. And from spending this tremendous amount of time now, over 8 years now, right, working with customers, what we've really identified are some tremendous areas, not just in digitizing the information, but really in driving to massive reductions, with many clients, about a five-fold decrease in the amount of time and effort that it takes to get to monitor readiness, and the actual visit with the monitor, right? Whether it's remote or in person, to be able to drastically eliminate that time that you're spending, because the monitor knows exactly what's here. You can rest assured that everything has been completed and trained and up to date here as process, as part of your process. And ultimately what that means is a massive productivity gain, about 40% more trials that these regulatory staff members can handle, as well as even up to a 20% increase in what the clinical staff and nurses can be able to handle in these clinical trials too. Because they're oftentimes involved in this process, whether it is simply to make sure they're accessing the key information right before they see patients, and or directly in terms of some of the manuals and correspondences, other information that they may need to handle here as well too. So I think those have been some of the exciting things, as well as we've also seen with a number of clients massive increases in terms of the time, particularly with all their investigators, right, to ensure that they are credentialed and delegated and trained accordingly to be able to manage that workflow, especially today, if you need to be sending out that delegation information and everything else across all your different locations and investigators. That can take a significant amount of time to impact into activation, in many cases in the startup too. So we've seen with many clients and recently presented how we've been able to drive, weeks up to 3 months increase on average to the study startup process with our site customers here.
This has been EXPO TV. We've been speaking with Rick Arlow, who's the CEO and founder of Complion. I encourage you to check out their virtual booth at our ACRP conference. Rick, I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Perfect. Thank you.